Good morning, folks, and welcome back to my home cafe. Today's video, we're going to look at the Breville Barista Touch Impress. Now this has recently just been launched by Breville. But I think I've managed to get hold of the unit reasonably early-ish. And this has been inspired, I presume, by the Breville Barista Express Impress. They've since put the Impress part system into the Barista Touch unit. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at what's in the box, and then we will set the machine up and probably get it started. So let's get things going here. So the simplest way to do this, instead of trying to lift it out of the box on the machine, would be to lay it on its end, and then we can slide it out. Pieces. The manual, which comes in very, very handy for all your troubleshooting and all sorts of bits and pieces. Here we have 54mm portafilter. Let's look at it's got the double wall basket in it. Here we have the filter holder. And this particular unit uses the Swiss, what they call the Swiss style water filter, which is slightly different to some of the other ones. Descaling powder for your first descale. Here we go. Yep, we've got. Yep, okay. Now there's our single ball basket. Yep. See additional portafilter basket for it. Yep, I've got the top of this in. Quite a snug fit, and we'll have to that's certainly easier than dropping everything in. Certainly easier than trying to lift it out, and we can just slide it out. Let's see what we've got here. It looks like it's a good idea to do it sideways because it's actually stood up in the time. Jug with a 250mm stainless steel jug for milk frothing. different style with a low profile being topper this time in comparison to the touch. Hold it. Well, no, it wasn't the right way. Just the way they packed it. Okay, it's standing up. Okay, let's take it out of the box. And let's get this plastic off, and then we'll have a further look. Right, got the plastic all off it, and it looks quite an impressive unit in my eyes. It's the silver anodised, or as they call it, the stainless steel appearance. Looks very much like, very similar in looks to the Breville Barista Touch, which we also have. So it's, I'd say it's the footprint for it is probably very much similar in stature, so you probably wouldn't need much more room to house this in. All in all, it looks quite good at the moment. So here we have our grate, the inside part of the drip tray, and this is meant to really catch some of the grinds and whatnot. So we're just taking off some of the tape, which holds these things together. It comes out. It'll catch all your water and stuff like that. It still looks very plasticky in some places, but stainless steel grate there. And underneath here looks like we have our little accessories tray. Keep all the bits and pieces in. I'll open this up and see what's in here. Well, I pretty well should be used to what's in here by now. That box. And also, as you can see, it basically comes with just about everything you're going to need, which you probably usually was two group head cleaning tablets for when you need to clean your group head later on down the track. A little device to hold it in there. There's your trimming tool for in case you over extract your overdose your system, or as you're swapping beans. There's a little description as to how to use it. Brush, little pin for cleaning it. Now I think this is basically the same. It's also got the four hold stand steam wand, whereas some of the other units, not necessarily by Breville, have only a single steam hole or twin. That's our little water hardness test strip, which we will do shortly. And at the back here we have a water tank. Now, at this point in time, I think a lot of these things are going to need to be washed before we can use them, so we'll do that before we get started too much. But I won't actually do the first use of this until a bit later on. So it's got quite a decent sized tank on it. I'd say it could be a 2 litre tank of water. And this was in quite nicely at the back, and then over the top the burr grinder is in there and everything. So let's wash all these accessories up and dry them up, and then we will set the machine up. Be back shortly. Right. Okay, we're back. So we've washed all our accessories up. Our water tank. Let's set the machine up now. So onto the water tank at the back, and we just slide that in to the back very simply and make sure it's in place properly, which it doesn't look like it is, so something's obviously got in the way. Yep, one of the power cords. So that's in place. Next, lock in the bean hopper just by locking it and just finding the locators. There you go, popped in quite nicely. Pop the top on. Put our accessories tray in as well, and that should once we put that in, it should link up with it, and then we can just, it'll come back out with us. There you go. That's quite simple. It's got our razor in there. Okay, so the next step now is to turn the machine on. And then we'll do a water hardness test as well. But there's a 54mm portafilter, all washed up. It's a single dose basket for when we pull our shot. Now these are two jewel wall, as they call them, a double and a single, and these are generally used for if you're just using pre-ground coffee, where you would fill the basket and then you would possibly pop it inside the cradle there and tamp it and then brew it. So we won't need those. There's our jug. You can see I think you can see it, there's maximum and minimum levels on the jug, so we know where to fill it. So we can pop that to the side. So first things first, I'll get rid of some of this. We'll peel the label off. If I can get my fingernails under it. There we go. Alright, with a nice clean screen. We already have power to the unit, so I think at this point in time it will probably, once I turn the machine on, it'll ask us to do the date, the time and everything else, and then it will possibly take us straight into the water hardness settings for it. So what I will do is I'll do the water hardness test now. I will be back in a sec. Right, so we have our little strip, and this is designed to give us an idea as to how hard or soft our water is, and this will have a an input or effect into how often we need to scale our machine. Simply by dipping this in, holding it there for a few minutes, and then, okay, so we take that out, we wait for it to change colour, and the results of this will determine, as I say, how often we descale the machine. So I'll let that go for a few minutes. So let's power up the unit. Give that a few seconds to warm up. Okay, here we go. So now it's asking us what milk we're going to be using. So this is one of the additional features with this machine. We have a choice as to whether we can use full cream dairy, almond, oat or soy. So they've allowed for, included this in part of their milk frothing library or settings. So we will go with dairy. Right, now we go to setting the time. So the time by me is coming up on 7:05. So let's go, it's on the AM. Simply by touching the screen, you just drop. So one good thing about this, it's very touchy screen, very good. And it looks like it's a slightly different aperture to it as well. So right, let's go. Let's go down a bit. We're looking at, I'd say, 3 minutes past, so we'll set it for that. 3 minutes past 7 in the morning on the AM, so we'll go next. And the date is, oh dear, right, can't tell that on my watch, but we're in February, so just hang on a sec. Right, so we're looking at the 5th, so simply by increasing that, as you can see, it's fairly straightforward to do it. So February, now we're in March 22, nope, so we change the year, 23, and go for next. Right, welcome to Cafe Quality at Home. Right, so this is going to give us our startup procedure. So I'm assuming this would take us into our first use process. So let's see what happens with that. Get ready, accessories checklist, wash and install all parts. This is giving us a tutorial as to what to do for our first before use. So we've done our accessories checklist, we've done our wash and install parts. But we haven't primed the machine, which we probably won't do till a bit later. So let's go to the next one, unpack everything, yep, which we've done. Right, remove the water filter from the, yep, I'll be doing that a bit later, but generally you would soak it for 3 to 5 minutes to make sure it's all filled with water. Right, install the bean hopper, which we've done. Right, accessory storage is underneath as it's telling us, so it's virtually giving us the complete setup process as you go through. Yep, which we've done that as well. Well, we haven't done that as yet, but we'll be likely to doing that shortly. Fill the water tank. All right, so it's determined that there's no water in it, so we'll have to put a bit of water in it. So we might need to put just enough water in it to get us through the process. So we hang on a sec. Right, so we've filled the water tank. I'll put some water in it and place back on the machine. Okay, so here we go. Water hardness test. So use default. Okay, so test now. Right, so which we've done. We've taken the strip, popped it in to the water. Sit and wait for a minute for the results. Right, this is where we need to add the results that we had on our strip. So looking at it, we had two pinkish, and then a slightly off coloured one, and then the two green. So let's go with, right, we'll go with the third option. Alright, test result, soft water, there is now low mineral content in your water source. Yep, and it's actually determined through the system of it too. Use of the water filter is recommended to minimise scale build-up, which I will do later, as long as it doesn't prompt us to do so. Okay, right, system priming, so it looks like if we go through the whole process, we may as well. Alright, okay, so get ready by placing the jug under the group head. Get the jug under the group head and make sure the drip tray is empty. I think we might use, I've got a slightly bigger one down here, so I might just use that one. But this is all part of the priming process. Okay, get ready. Okay, I'm just sort of following the prompts here. So system priming takes of 1 through, so it's virtually just a case of checking, of now continuing. So you'll hear that loud buzz first off because there's no water in the system. So priming the steam wand at the same time. It's giving us a caution as to. Right, so so that's all done. So we're all set now by the look of it. You have successfully set up your machine. Let's brew a coffee. So we won't go into that part of it as yet. But let's just have a look through. Get to know your barista, touch and press. You will need fresh hot. Yeah. So this is this will take us through making our first coffee. So if you're new to the process and new to the machine and not very experienced in brewing coffees and whatnot, they will actually take you through a tutorial. But with me being fairly knowledgeable on it, I won't need to. So what we'll do is we'll just hit later on that, and there we have our window for all our coffees. You can just scroll through. It even does a baby chino, which is something new. Hot chocolate too, by the look of it. Oh, okay, all right. Long blacks, baby chinos, tea. Oh, okay, and milk only. So yep. So it's got our 4 basic drinks that we like. So there's cappuccino, there's flat white, there's latte, and you can even do just an espresso shot. So very good. So that's actually taken us up to where we are. We can actually gain our settings for maintenance, group head cleaning, and all that sort of stuff. So it's got all the information that we need. So I think that's the process done. As I say, I'll do the water filter and whatnot assembly, and so I won't need to prime it at a later date. So let's finish this one up with a basic review. It looks like a very simple machine, very self-explanatory, straight through. So very good for the people who are sort of new to these types of machines as to setting it up. And we've already looked at all all the bits and pieces that came with it. So now it's probably just a matter of me storing some of the stuff, and then we'll do a first use and a first coffee review a bit later on down the track. So on that note, please, if you like the video, like the video, hit the notification bell, so you'll be notified of future uploads. And if you like what you see, and or any of the other videos that I have that are helpful, please subscribe to the channel. So I've got quite a good following now. So on that note, thank you all for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for watching the video. And I hope it helps a few of you people out with some of the questions that you have, and it answers a few things. So thank you again.